one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Thank you for joining Discover Crypto Live, where we bring you the live content 5 days a week, content 7 days a week. So go ahead and smash that like button because we have so much news to go over today. Is the bear market finished? And why did Bitcoin have its worst quarter in its entire history, or at least since 2018, which feels like a century?
Hey, the day's not over. The day is young. The day is young. Okay, we can still end at 80. Yeah, we're at 83K. I don't think we're ending this strong at all.
No, probably not. Now, I am in a trade and, just pulling up the Bitcoin chart here, looking at the 5-minute chart. Bitcoin's in a nice little pump as we speak here. We might be losing a little bit of momentum on the smaller time frame RSIs, but looking at this 5-minute chart, Bitcoin just going on a tear after dumping over the morning, the wee hours, the wee Asian hours there. And you can see strong divergence as Bitcoin just fell and fell and fell. We're going to look at some of the major levels, of course. And when we go to this screen right here, you can see still below some of the capitulation wicks that we had. What is this? This was on the 11th. So about 3 weeks ago. And we're also lower about 4 weeks ago. But now putting in some very fresh bearish price action, and the rest of the market feeling a lot of the pain. If we hit refresh here, see Bitcoin slightly green after the pump this morning, and ETH even more so, but a lot of the alts have still failed to recover here. You can see Dogecoin is down, BNB is down, XRP still down, and I hate to say it, but Cardano still down. But and even Chainlink, but we are seeing some green candles out there. Josh, how do you feel about the markets this morning? Are we going to continue the bullishness, or is Trump's tariff woes going to take down the rest of the market?
I am so excited for these tariffs. It's called Liberation Day, guys. It's the final. We're going to be live streaming the whole day. We're going to be one to our famous, 6-8 hour live shows there, covering you guys everything that happens on quote unquote Liberation Day is what they're calling it. But hopefully this is like the end of the race, right? So we have all of the news come out, all the reciprocal tariffs. They're going to give us out the full front plan. And from here, as soon as the tariffs are embedded, we're going to start seeing the money flow into the United States and see negotiations roll out. So I'm excited for this week because I feel like we've been stuck in a world of uncertainty. And I know all of you feel like this in the chat as well. Like, are tariffs going to be good? Are they going to be bad? Are these going to impact us negatively? Are they going to affect us positively? And now finally being able to hear the rollout of the plan and see it actually executed, we can move on from that and start seeing if negotiation takes place. So for me, it's just like, hopefully we start seeing a bottom of these markets. You can see it in the SPX today, guys. Actually, let's pull this chart up real quick. The SPX opened up massively, actually, to a huge low. And I believe the low was quarterly. Let me go to the daily here and just show you guys how far we dropped. So we hit a lowest point on the market since really, what is this? This is September 2024. So today we created some good gaps, which is good to see. Huge one all the way up to 55.75. We still have the gap all the way at 5,600. So I do expect a rebound from this, and we've been saying this for weeks. Like, again, we're 10 days away now. 10 days away from the new CPI data. The tariffs are going to be embedded, and if we get good news out of this and you start seeing this negotiation roll out, that's why we were saying the bottom of this market has to happen before that CPI report, before between middle of March and that mid-April date. And so I'm excited for this week. We got a lot to break down, and Jerome Powell will be speaking Friday as well on the economy at the New York Summit. So big things happening in these markets this week. I'm optimistic. But yeah, it's funny to see. We left the office, I think, at 83K Friday. Came back to the same exact price point. So a lot of
and big shout out to Jaime Gonzalez, $2 super chat. We appreciate you hanging out as well. Caleb Franzen brought up the S&P 500. Josh, you're just bringing up, looking terrible on that chart. Here you can see another chart with some moving averages. The S&P 500 making new multi-month lows. Currently on deck for its, like you said, lowest close since September 10th, 2024, 6 months ago, everybody. Also trading below the 200-day moving average cloud. That's not the sign of an uptrend. In fact, it's objectively the sign of a downtrend. So a lot of people calling, are we going to enter a bear market, or is this just temporary pain from the Trump tariffs? And we'll have a little bit more on that shortly here, folks. Now, I will say this, during this downtrend is not the time to panic sell. If anything, you should have some dry powder on the sidelines ready to deploy, and not just go ahead and shoot your whole wad at once, but feather in, come in slowly. Because as our new account showed, Discover Crypto Live, if you're not following us on X, definitely get in there. Don't be this guy. Send this to someone who needs a reminder of why we're here. Hold, sell now. You don't want to be that guy, everybody. And speaking of don't be that guy, you might not want to be an ETH holder right now. Vitalik spotted over the weekend. He's going viral right now. Everyone's upset that he's, excuse my language, he's sniffing a robot's butt is kind of what everyone's alluding to here. Either that or just getting very, very close for his look here. Reddit, one of the top comments. That's why ETH is down. He's sniffing a robot's butt instead of buying back more ETH so our bags can pump. The audience is seething over this one. Did you see the Vitalik robot video?
I did. I had some thoughts on this one I wanted to jump in with because I feel like people are way too invested in Vitalik and what Vitalik does, and blaming Vitalik for everything. I think Ethereum has gotten to a point now where, you know, the new Wall Street's being built on it. Larry Fink is going all in. BlackRock's going all in. And it really doesn't matter what Vitalik does on a day-to-day basis. Yes, he needs to keep, you know, being involved with the developer community. But for the most part, Ethereum is functioning the way it was supposed to function. Could there be improvements? Yes. But I think a lot of what we're experiencing with short-term price action has a lot more to do with whales trying to accumulate at good prices than it does with what Vitalik is or isn't doing. I think it's memeable. It's easy to dunk on it, but he kind of came out a couple of weeks ago, a couple months ago, I guess, and said, you know, it's time for the next generation. I think that was a lot of wisdom in that. He's really done his part as far as getting Ethereum to where it is. And, you know, like expecting a cult savior to drive price action, I think is short-sighted and, you know, not really a great mindset. And
you can use like BNB, for example, here. Like this is the BNB chart. CZ literally left Binance completely and went to prison. And BNB is one of the best performing assets in the crypto market here. I mean, it's barely seen a drawback here, and that's probably because of development, the use case. Tron's another, you know, case that you can look at as well. Now these are much smaller market caps, so maybe they're a little bit more manageable in terms of market pressure. Also, Binance is the largest. I'm sure that plays a huge part into this as well. You know, having the entire control of market makers could help with a lot of the price action of your project too. But, you know, ultimately, I have to agree with TJ there in a lot of ways. It's pretty decentralized at this point. The amount of development that's taking place is much bigger. So I don't think he was sniffing a dog's butt crack. I think, you know, a robo dog's butt crack. I think there was a camera on that side, I'm hoping for, you know, and so he was just reacting with it. But again, I agree with TJ there. I think Ethereum is going to absolutely crush this cycle.
Well, let me ask the chat, because I see people in the chat. Some people saying I'm loading up at 1800. Some people saying ETH is dead. I've never seen a stronger, louder voices, especially on X, saying ETH is dead. It's over for ETH. So I just started a poll in the chat. Let us know what you guys think. Is Ethereum going to recover? Is Ethereum still a good thing to accumulate, or is it done for and it's time for other chains to take the fold?
And I'll throw $50 on it. Maybe we'll do 50x. Short, long, let us know down below. We're going to throw a trade open on L Bank. We should have a link down below. Then I'll reveal the trades I opened earlier this morning. So type in short, type in long, and we'll go 50x degen style, everybody, because you know, sometimes the markets just want to reward those who can flip the coin correctly, and that's what we're going to try to do. Let's look at a couple other things here. So, you know, we have ETH and Bitcoin also having one of the worst quarters in history. They're closing Q1 with the worst return in 7 years. This is Bitcoin quarterly returns on the right side. Now down, or on the left side, ETH on the right side. ETH down 44%. Worst Q1 since 2018. Bitcoin down 11%, also the worst Q1 since 2018. Now, that one, interestingly enough, they're both about a 50% drawdown, but now we have Bitcoin just wildly outperforming Bitcoin, at least on the quarterly charts there. Looking at a couple super chats this week. Tariffs, Ukraine. I got all that for you, 904 Classic Legend. Just you wait. And long. God, I want to short it. Schlong, they want me to short and long. God, why is everybody trying to make me long this? All right, well, TJ, you know, you got to listen to the chat. I would short. I think it's a little bit overheated on the smaller time frames, but we're gonna have a little fun here.
And
we're gonna blast
liquidate
this
it.
up to 50. Blast it up to 50x, and make sure just want to do about $48. I can't believe you guys have me longing this. You have me longing this. This is gonna get liquidated, but
Yeah,
we're just having
I don't know,
a
dude. You
fun
might
time.
be in
We're
the-
gonna do market.
It could rip pretty well today, but I would agree. On the shorter time frame, you're looking at
lighting it
that
on fire.
downside. But SPX is bouncing strong here. What I'd like to see though, DZ, what I really like to see here is on the daily, the stochastic is now overextended to the downside. So does give me a little bit better, at least, confirmation that we got some support at this 82 level, especially when you start zooming out to that weekly, which is looking to roll over. So to that article you just posted or showed with the, Q2 looking really, really strong. I think Q2 is looking incredibly strong. I think you might see a sell in May and walk away again aspect, as you guys got to realize, like, it's not because money isn't in the market. Like, everything is sideline right now. So there's hundreds of billions of dollars in sideline. Like, in the crypto market alone, there's probably $100 billion of stablecoins sitting on the sideline right here. So what every institution is waiting for right now is just a little bit of clarity on how this market is going to react to the tariff conversation, and as well as the data points coming in for the stagflated economy we've been stuck in. So is inflation going to come down? Are we going to see a strong CPI report? These are things that can elevate that market alongside the tariffs. So we could be, again, like, you guys have to remember, I love this part about the market. People are going to say, is this project dead? Is Chainlink dead? Is Ethereum dead? Is Ondo dead? And you guys just have to realize the liquidity is stagnant and stuck in purgatory, waiting on a directional perspective, or some form of guarantee that the market's not going to continue to the downside here. So what you're looking at, you could see, look at these weekly candlesticks. Like, it's crazy how we live through these moments with everybody in chat. Like, a lot of you are here as well, right? 20% candles, $14,000 in price movement on Bitcoin in 1 week. This week after that was roughly $13,000. So we're in, again, it seems rough here, but the markets can turn around at the snap of a finger. And that's the problem, because every time it does this, 90% of retail misses out. It's because they refuse to dollar cost average at the bottom because it's scary. It's fear. It's not easy to buy when everybody else is fearful. Like, this article came out today. This was 17 minutes ago. This is breaking news, actually. It's called The Democratization of Investing. This was released from Larry Fink from BlackRock. And I'm going to ask chat here real quick. I want to see how long chat's been in here, guys. Do you remember what Larry Fink said in 2017? Does chat know what Larry Fink was talking about Bitcoin? What was BlackRock saying about Bitcoin in 2017 and 2018? And as you guys type that out, I'm going to read this through, and then I'll tell you guys the answer to that. I hear from nearly every client, nearly every leader, nearly every person. This is, again, the CEO of BlackRock, the largest asset management company in the world. I talk to, they're more anxious about the economy than at any time in recent memory. I understand why, but we have lived through moments like this before, and somehow in the long run, we figure things out. And chat is saying here, it sucks. It sucked. They were trashing it. He thinks Bitcoin is rat poison. That was Charlie Munger. Rest in peace. But you guys are all very close. What he said, and if you guys follow me on X, you would see this here. Let me go to my profile. Boom, and click it up here. His exact words were, in 2017, he famously referred to Bitcoin as an index of money laundering. So he was talking about hucksters, fraudsters, and the whole nine, that the SEC was kind of pitching the same pitch there. 8 years later today, guys, he came out and said that if the United States does not get its debt under control, if the deficits keep ballooning, America risks losing that position's world reserve currency to digital assets like Bitcoin. So they know, like, Bitcoin is that direct quote is coming from the CEO of the largest asset management company in the world, saying this is our hedge. If you're not in Bitcoin, Bitcoin, again, is the clear reigning superpower right now in digital assets. And if the United States does not catch up and take advantage of that, you're looking at a complete toppling of the US dollar. Now, I expect, obviously, the US dollar to play into Bitcoin. I expect us to buy Bitcoin, a Bitcoin strategic reserve, etc. But this is the conversation now. So what do you think these institutions are doing right now? That BlackRock was like, hey, the dollar sucks, the economy sucks, Bitcoin's the answer. They're accumulating heavily at these ranges. And if you guys aren't doing watch what the smart money is doing. The smart money is buying Bitcoin today. Not at 40K. They didn't buy at 25K. They didn't buy at 3K. They're buying today. And I think that's very important to understand.
Yeah, 100%. They're 100% buying today. And we've kind of said this for over 12 months. They're waiting for ETH staking rewards to be rolled into ETFs, and then that's when we'll see a huge influx. We're going to talk about more Ethereum action in a little bit, more Cardano news and more Doge news. First, we got to talk about Trump, then Bitcoin. Trump in the last 12 hours, so I guess this is 6:30 this morning, so last 16 hours, I'm angry and pissed off at Putin regarding Iran. If they don't make a deal, there'll be bombing, and it'll be the bombing the likes of which they've never seen before. And they also weighed in on broader and higher tariffs worldwide with the Liberation Day that Josh is going to live stream. The man is on a mission, and the mission is to nuke your bags. We're seeing a sea of red. You know, it is up volatility index, so that's maybe not a good sign there. But what are some things we're seeing in Bitcoin this week? We're seeing a lot of issues. So we're limping in, like we said, a Q1, huge losses, the worst quarter in years. But we also have the new U.S. trade the tariffs weighing in on the risk asset sentiment. We also have Liberation Day. That's what we were talking about earlier. This is what Donald Trump's trying to brand Tariff Day, April 2nd. Q1, worse than 7 years. Profitability currently points to a bull market downtrend with maybe no realistic bottom in sight. But we do have the Coinbase premium putting up a fight amid the price dip, suggesting the panic sellers have already exited. Now, TJ, you know what the Coinbase premium is? Maybe some viewers might not.
Yeah, it's the little price
discrepancy.
Yeah, the discrepancy between where they are versus what the actual price is.
Binance versus Coinbase. And so when Coinbase has a higher price for Bitcoin relative to Binance, that suggests that there's renewed U.S. interest, and a lot of buyers for Coinbase is institutional. Like, so when BlackRock acts as buying pressure, that will help the Coinbase premium. So you want to see a Coinbase premium on Bitcoin, actually. We do have some TA stuff here. We got HTL-NL. We've talked about his charts in the past. A bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart. You can see it right here. If we zoom in, we had a candle right here start to go up, and then an engulfing candle basically engulfs all the price action of the previous candle. And so you do not want to see a bearish engulfing candle. That's showing, you know, maybe there's going to be a little bit more downturns ahead of us. And we also have some upcoming death crosses. It warned prior to the Wall Street Open as short-term losses catch up to the broader uptrend. Looking at liquidations, you know, liquidations on both sides, so we can't make any kind of guaranteed move there. And when we're looking at the big April 2nd data, this is what Josh is going to go over. Jobs opening, jobless claims, non-farm payrolls are all going to be part of that stream there. But we also have Kobayashi letter saying that tariffs may impact $1.5 trillion worth of U.S. imports by the end of the month. And the markets, they're just not happy about this right now, Josh.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the 24-hour fear and greed index. Extreme fear, sorry, not greed, opposite of greed. 24 fear here, but looking at those liquidations, you could see the extreme fear, guys. People in absolute chaos and panic here. 12-hour time frame, you do got a lot of liquidations opening up below us at 82.4. Plenty though above us at 84.3.
Yeah, but go to the week.
I'm gonna keep going out here. So the daily, again, you're looking at markets being quite volatile here. And by the way, I do want to say, guys, you have two big dates this week, so be cautious. Liberation Day and Jerome Powell speaking. And every time Jerome Powell speaks, dude, he is the daddy of the markets. You guys know this. Like, people are anticipating whatever comes out of his mouth, and that's Friday. So Wednesday and Friday this week, probably a decent amount of volatility here. Moving to the weekly, though, yeah, TJ is completely correct, dude. All of the liquidity is above us. And this is why, you know, I'm very cautiously optimistic. I am more bullish than a lot of people might be out there in terms of how the tariffs are going to land. Of course, it is very, very hard in the short term here. But when you just zoom out a little bit and you're looking at where that liquidity is on the weekly or the monthly time frame, these are the reasons why, guys, again, look at the monthly. It's all above us. These are the reasons why when I'm looking at the market, I'm saying the bottom has to be sometime close. Like, unless he comes out and says like, oh, we're going to do 200% tariffs on everybody now globally. And like, I'm not saying that's impossible. It's not like that's not something he hasn't said before. You know, the conversation of pricing that into the market is pretty much happened. So unless you're getting progression in a war, which again, I don't really see anything. Maybe Iran, you got these threats that are taking place. I think that's going to land, you know, pretty decently. I think Putin's going to step in on that. We'll see. Those are weird negotiations on a geopolitical scale. But again, when you're looking at that liquidity from these liquidation maps, you're just looking at all that liquidity being above us. So let's actually scroll over as well to the exchange liquidation map. And we'll go out to the 7-day time frame here. You know, the amount of people shorting, like, you're just going to see scalpers. Like, if you want to make money in this market right now, unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of scalping. The weekly time frame here, if you're looking at a downside position, 80K, not a lot opens up all the way down to 75K. There's not a lot of liquidity that pushes it down to this range. So we have a lot of volume and support at this $80,000 to $82,000 level. And I think we're just going to consolidate here, and we're going to end up to the upside here in a couple weeks. So that's kind of just the liquidation thoughts right there.
All right, I would agree. We got Disco fan weighing in here. We got Eduardo Amador. Well, I'm gonna open the door into Bitcoin dominance here. Bitcoin dominance is going wild. We have a Rec Capital chart right here. Strongest alt seasons have occurred every time Bitcoin dominance rejects from 71%. So maybe we see even more pain, but we are still pretty far from that wick that we saw where all the altcoins got liquidated. A huge leverage flushing event there. But if we're kind of checking the top part of this range, the top part of this or this rising wedge, we could still bounce and we could still go a little higher. I don't know if we see a 71%, but yeah, 100% Bitcoin dominance going nuts right now. And we need this to go down. Once this goes down and say Bitcoin's flat, your altcoins will start doing well. This is when your altcoins start performing, when we start seeing more and more red candles on this. We go to the weekly, kind of just zooming out. This is typically a bearish sign, technical. Most of the, I want to say 60 some odd percent, this will break to the downside. No guarantee though, but we are expecting Bitcoin dominance to turn around. But speaking of Bitcoin, here's why Bitcoin is the king. It has no founder, no ruling foundation, no pre-mine, no insiders, no initial investors, no office, no website, no paid executive team, no marketing team, except for Michael Saylor, no paid dev team, no starting price, no human controlling it. Fairest money on earth. Where is the lie, TJ?
We asked the mirror on the wall to see who the fairest of them all is.
Yeah, there is no lie.
Yeah. Did you see Snow White over the weekend?
I refuse to watch that god awful film, dude. Fucking.
It's because Ariana Grande licked a donut. Is that why?
No, I mean, I liked what do you call it? The
Ariana
Wizard of
Grande
Oz. Wizard of Oz wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed that. Even though that.
No, Snow White's Rachel.
Yeah, it's Rachel
Zegler.
Ziegler or whatever. Zegler's Zugon. I'm gonna be careful.
Rachel Unlikable.
Yeah, Disney dropped her. Like that's how bad you like. How bad do you have to be to get dropped by Disney? Like the most woke company on the planet.
As Gina from Mandalorian. Fairly easy to get fairly easy.
I think it's a lot harder to hit a 1.5 on IDMB or whatever it is, or IMDb. It's 250,000 people commented.
Well, I think your last name's Carino. Gina Carino was fired for wearing a MAGA hat.
So it's called like Wicked. That. Sorry, chat. It's called Wicked. Yeah, I really enjoyed Wicked. I don't think Wicked was interesting because everybody was like talking about how they looked really skinny and whatever, and like that's a different conversation. But I thought that was a really fun film especially if you're a kid. But
okay. TJ, you're gonna take the baby to go see it, right?
No, definitely not.
Skipping it?
No, I think it was a good Disney film.
Peter Dinklage ruined it. That's my hot
Disney.
take.
It's not Disney. Is it Disney?
Peter Dinklage's fault. All right, let's
I want dwarfs, man. I like to see
real quick. You know, I want to ask you guys this. Do you remember a time in recent history when there's as much fear and FUD out there as there is right now? Look at that. You guys just took
not at all.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. When was that?
World War II.
The bear market obviously is terrible. I would say in this type of environment, though, this feels not as bad as the March and April dumping of Bitcoin in 2021.
What about if you include though the polarization of politics, like how politically divided the United States is, like markets are like on top of markets. I think it's like a double effect.
That trends worse year after year, and then it spikes every presidential year, and that has gone on for decades. So I wouldn't say that's a recent phenomenon.
Well, either way, your answers, were what I was looking for. Basically, is all of the times you mentioned were great buying opportunities, right? When the fear was the loudest, when the FUD was the greatest, those were generally the best times to buy. And this just came out, I believe, last night or over the weekend. Oh, I'm gonna get yours off. There it is. Goldman Sachs. I don't know if you guys saw this yet. Goldman Sachs just upgraded their chance of a U.S. recession from 20% to 35% in the next 12 months. Yeah. So they're coming out saying that they think the U.S. is going to hit a recession in the next 12 months, which I think this is 100% designed to scare retail investors. Somebody in the comments actually made a really good point. I feel like they should have to face some type of repercussions or accountability for this type of FUD, because they watched the same Jerome Powell speech that we did on the 18th. So, which is basically saying that most likely we're not heading to a recession based on all the data. But then they take that and come and put this thing out, this week. To me, I'm feeling like the reason the FUD is the loudest, the reason the fear is the loudest right now is because the richest people in the world are in major accumulation mode. The fact that what Josh just said at the top of the stream about Larry Fink saying the dollar is at risk of losing its reserve status to Bitcoin, that is a signal to everybody around the world that holds a ton of dollars that you need to start positioning yourself for that potential reality. And so that they put these type of news articles out there, they scare retail into selling, and then the richest people in the world come in and buy like crazy and accumulate at some of these generational opportunities. DZ, you and I were talking about this morning a video that we're probably going to put out a little bit later this week. There's a graph that shows this moment that we're in right now has only happened 3 other times in Bitcoin's history, where it's a generation. Almost every time, if you bought there, you can set your family up for life. I mean, especially if you can buy with some size. So I really think this week that we're in right now is going to be one of the best possible. If you didn't buy before we moved up at all, if you didn't buy, like DZ mentioned, 2022 bear market, if you didn't buy when things crashed all the way back in 2021, if you didn't get sub 20K Bitcoin, this risk reward scenario might be one of the best opportunities to buy that you're going to get for the next decade. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys to kind of look at fear news with another. Don't let it fudge you out. When you hear Goldman Sachs out there putting these reports out saying 35% of recession, that generally means we just had a recession and we're moving out of it now. You know, it's not going to happen in the next 12 months. It happened the last 12 months. We've been living in it right now. And we're going to move towards a dollar printing environment very soon. And I will spin. I see the chat. I
would say some people are fearful as far as headlines, politicians, rich people, due to maybe the government spigot being cut off. It does seem like we cut a lot of the, I would say, wasteful spending. You know, we could argue about whether things are wasteful or not, but when you see certain things, certain line items, and you're not sure if it's real, if you're not sure if it's not, but I don't know. What did Chelsea get $3 million for her wedding? When you see things like that, and you see pissed off protesters, maybe FUD is spreading on purpose. I'm gonna close that trade real quick. I do want to say I'm gonna go ahead, close the trade and profit. We did get that in the green. I probably should have done it while I was talking, because you can see that giant fresh 1 minute red candle there. Oh my God, I'm just getting out. I'm getting out. So we closed it, 27% in profit. Good job, Disco fam.
Yeah, hey,
they're always right.
Trade along with us, like DZ mentioned earlier. L Bank link in the description. I'll drop it here in the chat. I did want to say Kelly just shared with me some breaking news here. Speaking of the dollar getting replaced, Circle, which you guys know we talk about, Tether and Circle being the new Federal Reserves. Circle is set up to IPO now through JP Morgan. So JP Morgan's going to be assisting Circle with an IPO, and that will be a publicly traded company.
Yeah, and I'm working on something. It's very boring, but I'm going to share it with the audience here soon. It's like how these states can tokenize. It goes everything through the new Wyoming token to all the regulation with the Stable Act, because you guys have to realize the banks don't want to be cut out here, and stablecoins would essentially allow states to remove banks as the middlemen. That's why they're trying to pursue and lobby for the Stable Act, as it forces the states to utilize JP Morgan and banks as custody. Stablecoins are probably one of the most interesting and most bullish aspects of crypto in general, because we could put pretty much everything in the United States on chain. And ask yourself this question, guys: why are states the largest net buyers of U.S. Treasuries? Right? To me, it just makes sense that that's how you would follow suit. That U.S. taxpayers go to providing not only growth for the your actual given state, but you could actually earn yield aspects off that and benefit the U.S. dollar. There's a lot of ways crypto can benefit the U.S. dollar and still really benefit the entire ecosystem. So there's something we have to be really, really cautious with here. Moving into politics here, you guys, I mean, you all know this, the government is now coming in, big banks are coming in here, and they're using crypto as essentially the solution to fractional banking, which is why we call it fractional banking 2.0. It's going to allow them to fractionalize their real world assets at a massive scale, 100x easier than what they're doing today. And it's going to open up, roughly anywhere from 100 to 500 trillion dollars in value over the course of the next 20 years. And so those are the projections from the Goldman Sachs, the research hubs that exist out there. So it's something that we have to be careful with and just monitor. But I think I will try to release that soon here. It is pretty boring, but it's very educational, and it's what all of your states are focusing on. And Wyoming with Cynthia Lummis is paving the way for this. They're developing their own stable coin, looking to move all of your taxes and everything on chain, create anything from grants to bonds, municipal bonds, utilizing these new tool sets, and it could be really positive for each individual state. So the other fear mongering today, it's the reason why I'm bringing this up, chat, is because, like, in all of you guys probably have seen this, but the media is like, oh no, Germany's selling US treasuries. Oh no, China's selling US treasuries. Then you realize how big California is and New York is in terms of economies. They're the largest economies in the world. And comparable to other countries, the California is like the 5th largest economy in the globe. That's surpassing other entire countries and nations. And so if we can actually use that to benefit the American people, create GDP, and tokenize these systems to be more efficient, it's a win-win for everybody. Something to think about, something to kind of just ponder on. It's also what we're moving towards in our markets.
We have Bucks of Blonde 2008 XRP moving back up. Looking at the 5-minute candles here. Yeah, nice little movement for the XRP holders. You can see right here. This is from 4 hours, 55 minutes ago. It is up 5%. So it's up 5% in 5 hours. So good to see if you're a holder. And if you're a holder of Bitcoin, good to see Michael Saylor finally buying the dip. He's just spent $2 billion, bought 22,000 Bitcoin, despite the concerns over the April 2nd tariff announcement and the rising market uncertainty. And you can see the post right there. Now the $86,969 a coin, and the average price now $67,458 per Bitcoin. And they have over 528,000 BTCs. So good job, Michael Saylor. And we have Metaplanet. Not quite 2 billion, not even close to 2 billion, but they just issued 13 million in bonds to buy more Bitcoin. So they're also kind of copying that strategy, and that kind of rolls into what we're seeing. Fun, good job, Gold Bugs, by the way. But that rolls into what we're seeing here. Trump's sons backing some of these companies, because the mining companies have been doing the marathon. The Metaplanet strategy and the MicroStrategy planet. They've been buying Bitcoin and hodling it like Marathon and Hut 8. So Donald Trump's sons partnered with Hut 8 to launch an American Bitcoin company, aiming to build the world's largest Bitcoin mining firm with strategic reserves. And this is going to be, what they want to be the world's largest Bitcoin mining firm. Technically, the largest one is Marathon by market cap. And you see how the markets are reacting to this news. It is down 6.4% just today. You look over the last 6 months, it's down almost 30%. So might be worth, exploring this further. TJ, we were talking ahead of time. What did the mining stocks do in 2021?
Which part, I guess, early or late?
How would you describe it in relation to Bitcoin's price movement?
Usually they outperform, like a lot of
or outdump. So like
yeah. Exactly. They kind of go the leveraged version of what Bitcoin does. So it's in equity in Bitcoin companies. A lot of times when Bitcoin's going up, overperform. When Bitcoin's going down, overcorrect.
Let me ask you this question. I think we've seen a pattern here. Do you think that Bitcoin mining firms are going to now start getting more favorable legislation and rules of the road?
Yes. No question. Yes.
No question, right?
Yeah.
If Bitcoin's in a downturn and the mining stocks are also in a downturn, but in a levered downturn, maybe even falling further than Bitcoin, what happens if Bitcoin bounces from here?
Fantastic question. But this is, man, I got to make that video again because it was like a year and a half ago. Dude, people don't realize this, but Bitcoin mining, like especially a lot of people in chat type 1 in chat, I think Bitcoin's bad for the environment. There's my one for the day. I get to ask one poll for you guys. A lot of people think Bitcoin is slow, outdated, and bad for the environment, but Bitcoin is what will allow us to produce more energy than ever, capture our carbon credit markets, tokenize those systems, create Bitcoin strategic reserves, create municipal bonds, and be able to create massive growth in the first country to really adopt Bitcoin as an infrastructure tool wins this gold rush. And I can promise you, because I've actually helped work on a lot of these different legislative policies and been a huge advocate in that sector for Bitcoin miners, I can promise you that those ESG standards and those carbon credit markets and those tokenization systems are being set up today. And in fact, in Pennsylvania, there was just a recent announcement where Bitcoin miners are buying old coal facilities, converting those and capturing all the excess waste in the air, converting that into a net value. You have another one, I forgot what it was called. You have Pakistan is coming out and doing this as well now. They're looking to set up all their miners through all their cheap energy and capture their carbon emissions. So it's a huge market that is starting to be tiptoed into. ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, like some of your largest oil companies in the world, have test pilot programs. We are years away from this development. And yeah, I think there's going to be a day, DZ. You're looking at under 100,000. It's just like people wish they bought under 10K Bitcoin. They're going to wish they bought under 100K Bitcoin. I don't know if that's next year, in 5 years. We just know that day's coming.
Oh man, I'm looking at Marathon on the 5-year chart here. This is 5 years, so you can see the 2021 run up for Bitcoin. And so if you weren't here last cycle. Bitcoin ran up a whole bunch in March, and then around April, May started dumping, and then found a bottom around June, July, and then it rose to new all-time highs in November. I feel like we're kind of in a similar situation now. We have Bitcoin, print above 100K, and then it's declined a bit. 2021, it declined about 50%. So I still think there's a little bit of room to go to the downside. But if you got in and got some of these mining stocks around then, you ended up doing great. This was around $20, ended up peaking around 75. So close to a 4x. But if you did the same thing with Bitcoin, you got Bitcoin for 29K, and then you sold for 69K. So you barely did a 2x. And so it does seem like there might be potential more upside for the mining stocks. You see the recent uptrend with Bitcoin's price. Marathon was $27. Right now it's $11. So it is fallen more than 50%. So I might look at Marathon. I might look at HUD 8. Let me know in the chat. I'll pull in a third Bitcoin mining stock. I'm going to go old data, Bitcoin drawdowns. How did the stock perform over the next 6 months as Bitcoin started to pump? And maybe we can kind of gleam, is it a good time to buy Bitcoin miners? Is this like a levered 2x, 3x, maybe even 4 or 5x bet on Bitcoin? So if Bitcoin doubles, you might be able to put 100 in Bitcoin and end up with 200, but you might be able to put 100 in Bitcoin mining and end up with 500. And so that might be the video I have to put out tonight. So turn on notifications. That video will be dropping around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
How do you answer Richard's question right here? Why buy Marathon or Riot when you can buy Bitcoin? Or when you can
I think he means coin stock.
Maybe he means Coinbase. Yeah.
I think he means coin stock. I would say...
I think he meant
Coin is not exactly employing the MicroStrategy, and so or the strategy, and so it might not have as levered a bounce as Coinbase does. Also, Coinbase, maybe their API fees are just like totally insane, and maybe they got to pay a lot for employees and stock options, and maybe there's more people shorting that stock because it's more popular. I would say both are good. Both are fine strategies. I hold Coin, I hold HUD, and I hold Marathon. None of that is close to what I hold in actual Bitcoin.
Yeah, I don't have the answer to this at all, because the conversation around the miners as well is going to revolve around what they're doing with these data centers. So if they're consuming all this energy and developing these massive data centers where they're mining, they can also sell a lot of those. The
compute power to AI. That's an angle.
Exactly. So if I don't know that sector specifically, so I can't determine that. But that's also another bet is like, okay, if these energy providers become the largest source for computing power, like they can also become like the next, I don't know if I'd compare them to like a TSMC or a semiconductor manufacturer, but almost as if these stocks trade as commodities one day because of the energy capacity that they create. So that's another conversation. You'd have to dive into that energy market. But I would argue that's where a lot of institutions are looking at these miners going, okay, they got Bitcoin on their balance sheets like Marathon, et cetera. BlackRock's a huge investor into these companies. What's the long game from here? It's not just Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is the access point to the negative energy markets. And then it's what do you do with those negative energy markets and that net value that would now create a valuation on that stock. And that's something that would need to be studied.
All right. Now, Clean Spark. I might look at Clean Spark. Maybe it'll be Riot. So turn on notifications. Are the Trump tariff cycles, this cycle's Black Swan, similar to COVID shutdown? I would say this is nowhere near what we saw with the March shutdown in 2020. Gray Swan, maybe.
I agree. I think people throw around the term Black Swan way too much. I mean, Black Swan means something completely unexpected, completely unpredictable.
Yeah.
This was not unpredictable. He was talking about this. He ran on this. He was elected on this. This has been kind of baked.
He talked about tariffs 40 years ago on Larry King Live. This has honestly been like a major thought of his for a long time.
COVID, I would say, was a Black Swan, but there was a lot of, and then everything that's happened since then. People say, "Oh, Black Swan, this Black Swan," like banks going under, Black Swan
now. Yeah,
regional banks, all these things. These were not Black Swans.
We're still in just the correct.
You guys know who invented the term Black Swan for financial markets?
Who's that?
Nassim Taleb.
Okay.
Bitcoin bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. He called it. I think maybe he called it a scam.
And he probably did that 10 years ago. And now it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's like semi-recent.
I don't know. You got to be careful on the Black Swans, guys, because a lot of the Black Swan talk, like you're saying, when they say recession topics, like these are headlines, they're for clickbaits, they're for fear mongering. It could be TDS, it could be a plethora of different issues, But when you're looking at the stock, so what's different this cycle is this time is different in a lot of different ways, from an institutional perspective, from a government intervention perspective, from a banking institution perspective. and a retail perspective. And liquidity has essentially dried up, which is why a lot of your risk on assets are being so brutally hit. It's why a lot of your altcoins are being completely stuck in the gutter right now and dropping 80, 90, 95%. It's because there's no liquidity from retail, and your VCs aren't going to be marketing unless there's retail access. And so until this is why a lot of people say markets aren't going to rebound until the Feds pivot, which is also false because there's a lot of other things that could roll over into personal savings. For example, there's an argument from economists, whether you like it or not, guys, both liberal, Democrat, Republican, that argue that tariffs in the long term could benefit those personal saving rates. Whether that's 6 months, 12 months, that's a different conversation. But Scott Besson believe they can reduce that 10-year yield, which will force the Feds to start cutting rates. And so you don't need the Feds to print money. All we need is an end to QT. And if they start cutting interest rates, even by 25 basis points, your markets are now going to be factoring in and start rotating and pricing in what the markets look like 6 to 12 months from now. These inflation indicators are all lagging. The market is not proactive. It's reactive to data points that come in. So these markets always pricing in a longer time frame. So what we could see over the next 2 to 3 months, which is what I believe institutions have been doing this first quarter, they've been pricing in the negative impact of these tariffs, and they don't know how big of an impact that they're going to be. They don't know how little of an impact they might be. They're waiting for Liberation Day. They need to see the game plan. They need to see the negotiations. And so it's why when you're playing this bear game, also an absolute bull. You should not be an absolute bull right now. You should be cautious, maybe optimistic where I land. But if you're looking at bears right now, they keep screaming black swan. They keep screaming recession. None of your indicator. We have a strong labor market. There's nothing that shows maybe stagflation of the economy, but that doesn't result usually in a recession. And that comes out of Jerome Powell's words. So if you don't want to be political, just look at what the Feds are doing. And that would tell us QT ends sometime, hopefully this summer. And we're expecting June. So you got to just kind of scrape through that noise and be very cautious when you're reading these headlines. It goes vice versa too. The bull's going, this altcoin's going to 100x. It's like, no, probably not. It's the same, I think, on both sides of the spectrum.
And Nassim Taleb, very, very smart guy. He said Bitcoin, not a hedge against inflation. Literally. He said it's literally not a hedge. Look, it's not a hedge, all right? It's just treat it as speculative asset. It's a speculative asset.
Oh, this is the same.
Taleb, he coined the term black swan, anti-fragile is one of his books. He's a smart guy.
What year was this? 7 months ago?
Yeah.
This was
like I said, he's
Oh.
recently bearish against Bitcoin. It just says it's fake, fugazi, not real. Get your money out. But
And by the way, guys, that was 7 months ago. So that means he said that when Bitcoin was at 40K. Let me look at 7 months ago. I want to pull this up here because I want to see how he remained bearish and what happened to him. Because now we have that Larry Fink article coming out and saying that Bitcoin is the quite, in fact.
Yeah, I'm looking. Here's
inflation.
Nassim right now. Looking. He's smiling as Josh and Deezy's Tesla burn. That's the face he makes. 7 months ago, I look real quick. Bitcoin, boom, go here, hit 1 year, and we're just gonna kind of guesstimate.
It was
here.
at 60K.
Okay.
It was at 50 in the 50Ks. At the time of that video, it was 100% in the 50Ks.
That's wild. That's wild. But yeah, don't worry, not a hedge against inflation. Now, Marathon is going to buy more Bitcoin with their stock offerings. But let's talk about ETH here. Assessing ETH's outlook after dropping to 1,800. Did you have something real quick?
Well, just real quick. We wrap that poll. 69% of our audience says Ethereum is not dead. So
I would say it's not dead.
That
It
sounds
is what
about right.
BlackRock
69%?
Look,
69%.
the second ETF loss-taking money spigot's going to go on. Trust me. All right. I made the prediction a year ago. I'm just reiterating the prediction now. We just haven't seen it yet.
For the people that think Ethereum is dead, why?
Because the ETH outflows, ETF outflows. Maybe.
But look at the development. Look at the TVL. Look at the how many institutions have
it's the
they would look at this. They would look at this.
Crazy.
ETH ETF, not a single inflow in 24 days.
But let me show you this. I'll show you the counter.
You said it 20 days ago. Those people look right compared to the people saying no, buy it.
Are we in a bearish trend right now on ETH and altcoins? Of course.
Oh yeah, look at the chart here. When we go to the daily,
look at treasuries.
Is this a little bear flag?
Oh, I got to switch.
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean, we got some technical targets to the downside.
So while that's happening, look at what your institute we passed $5 billion today, chat. We showed you this when this was at $10 million over almost 2 years ago. Look at Ethereum. It's by far the largest competitor, 3.6. So more and more treasuries are moving on chain. That to me is an uptrend in what institutional interest looks like. And if you go probably can we do market overview on Ethereum? 12.2 billion. I don't think this shows it doesn't show which if it's ETH chain or whatever it is. But here you go. Yeah, 5 billion. It's still 5 billion.
I mean, to be fair, we have a bear flag pennant pointing to like under $1,000 Ethereum. I don't think we hit that, but that's the daily chart right there. You can see the 4-hour chart. We are definitely 100% printing some bullish RSI, some bullish divergences here. So it could be the start of more green candles. I'm going to go ahead and do one of the DZ patented drawings here. We're going to put in about 3, then we're going to pause. And then we're going to come up to around this little point of control. So that's the DZ prediction. We'll see how it plays out tomorrow. There's the ETH outflows, just looking very bearish. But we do have some... I never got into the article here. So on the daily, we are in the bear structure, consistently printing lower lows, lower highs. Rejection from 22 and the breakdown below 19 has reestablished that bearish momentum. And now it looks like we could be testing 1600. Also, the 200-day moving average slightly downward and sits far above the price action, reinforcing the long-term bearishness. Moreover, RSI hovering near oversold, but without any bullish divergence. Well, that is old news. This was printed at 1 a.m. and it looks like over the last couple hours, things have been turned a little bit more bullish for Ethereum. So maybe a little turnarounds in the cards here. Scott Melker, friend of the channel, Charles was on his show just recently, and he had some news for the Cardano holders. Smash that like button if you're holding Cardano and you just wanted to go back to $1. I don't even need $5-7 at this point. Charles revealed that Cardano is integrating Hydra with Bitcoin's Lightning Network for trustless recursive bridge between them, seamless cross-chain functionality. People will be able to write both Bitcoin script and Cardano smart contracts. Is this the bridge that changes crypto forever?
About time, dude. About time.
I don't know if I go that far, but hopefully it makes some green candles for Cardano, and I think I'll be happy enough just for that. Now, we did put out a Cardano video over the weekend. Make sure you go watch that, folks. Kind of break down the current bear structure and maybe what things could look like in the near term there. But you guys ready to talk about Doge?
Which Doge?
The coin. I know. We always talk about the government. We always talk about Elon.
Or the government entity everybody hates for some reason.
Well, we're Tesla fanboys, so I think it's
hell yeah, dude. Buying Teslas every day of the week. I'm so excited to get. I'm upgrading mine.
So you are getting the new 2025 model.
We have to wait because they're like the production's oversold, which is crazy. I thought their stock was supposed to tank, but the new one. Have you seen the new one?
Yeah, looks
good. I'm like, it's like buying a brand new iPhone and then announcing the next one right when you buy it. And
I bought the old model
because of features.
I bought the old model because it was so cheap, though. Like,
100%, 100%. It's just like trading an old phone. So I don't know. It looks very. I'm excited.
TJ, did you protest over the weekend a Tesla dealership?
I did not. No,
dude. I wanted to bring them donuts, but we live in like a cool area, so
if you're a protester and someone rolls up in a Tesla and says, "Eat this donut," are you going to eat that donut?
No,
dude,
the diarrhea juice
the
all
type
over
of people protesting, though, they would.
That's not chocolate.
They would, dude. They're injecting themselves with like 9 booster shots. You think they give a shit what's in the donuts? They're immune. They're Fauci immune. Dude.
Maybe they felt they were going to kill grandma if they didn't get that shot, and I think it's okay for people to make choices
what about
based on fear.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This one's for grandma. This one's for my cousin.
My retort would be they listen to people they thought they could trust, and they could trust the science.
No, I agree. It's very unfortunate.
It is. Look, ain't nothing. Look, let's already move on and talk about Doge. YouTube's already pissed at us for what we just discussed. So if you can help us out, smash that like button. TJ, where are we on the likes, by the way?
Let's see. Likes. We are 365. So definitely a little light today. We have almost 2,000 people in here. Everybody, stop what you're doing real quick. Hit that like button if you're on mobile. Sometimes you have to exit out of the live chat. Sometimes you have to turn your phone sideways to find it, to hit that like button. But yeah, it helps us get the good word of Bitcoin out there, help people not get shaken out of their positions now before the big bull run. So.
This one right here, DZ, I think you should dress up as the red character from Hydra from, what is it?
Change it?
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
I played with G.I. Joes when I was little. They had the little like elastic strings that were in it, like little rubber strings. Remember, you could kind of like stretch the leg, but if you pull it too hard, it'd snap. We had someone eat the donut to save grandma. See, now you're thinking outside the box, outside the fart box. No Doge and Doge. Let's talk about Doge here, everybody. So there's no Doge in Doge, says Dogecoin proponent Elon Musk. So he had to address it. Basically, this is at his America Pac town hall in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I think he gave 2 different people a $1 million check. There are no plans for the government to use Dogecoin or anything he said during that speech. I was going to call it Government Efficiency Commission. That's a boring name. Then the internet said it needed to be Doge Department. And I was like, internet is right. There are no plans for the government to use Dogecoin. So bad news. Looking at the price action here, Doge was down. Doge was down a little bit. I don't think it's too many people pissed off there. We look at the 24-hour spiking like the rest of the market, but maybe losing a little momentum. And when we zoom out completely, I'm like, whoa, TJ, is that a trend line on the bottom? Are we going to draw a trend line? Are we testing generational life-changing trend lines here? So we're going to go to the daily. You see that? It's weird, right? I like it. All right. Make sure we're on the regular chart. Not
that
log.
always come out when you put Doge?
I was gonna say that's the first time I've noticed
That's
that.
the first time I've seen that too.
Didn't do it for me.
I mean, that's something. That's something. I know sometimes you kind of stray, man. Like, look at this trend line. It's like going below and going above. This actually looks good. This is the daily. You can see that we didn't close a daily candle below it. Oh my God. I market bought one share of Tesla this morning. You know, I was actually thinking, should it just be Doge? Because Tesla's peeled back some of the gains from 2 weeks ago, this past week.
Oh,
I don't hate buying Doge at this level.
Tesla's down 5%. I mean, just following the SPX. Like, yeah, it's
TJ, is Doge a buy right there?
If you're into that kind of thing, I guess so.
Kind of thing.
Like I'm not big on meme coins in general. If you're buying meme coins, fine. But it is interesting to me the people that seem to hate Ethereum are also big meme coin holders. And if you think your meme coins are going to pump without Ethereum pumping, without new money coming into the system, like I got another thing coming. You know, you got another thing coming because it's not meme coin. You know, Ethereum needs to pump for a lot of these alts, for especially a lot of these meme coins to move. I think the Fed doesn't have to pivot, but new money coming in, rates getting cut. That's what's going to send things up for altcoins. Until then, it's Bitcoin's show. I'm still heavy Bitcoin. I do think allocating or accumulating strong altcoins here is fine. And if you're a meme coin buyer, Doge, I guess, would be one of the strongest meme coins to accumulate. But there's so many other things I'd rather buy than meme coins. I much prefer Ondo, Ethereum, Aerodrome, Morpho, Aave, you know, things that touch. You guys know I like DeFi. I'm the DeFi guy here on this channel. I like Bitcoin and I like DeFi. So if it touches one of those two things, Josh just showed that Biddle Fund screen there where you can see all of the tokenization of Wall Street's going to get tokenized and treasuries are getting tokenized. And, you know, all of that is what's interesting to me. I'm not looking for a quick flip on a meme coin, but if that's your game, you know, more power to you.
Yeah.
I do like Dizzy Gang here. Doge is crap. So last cycle, no more memes, only blue chips. That's mostly where I'm putting my money. I'm only been putting my money in the blue chips lately. But a lot of money is going to flow into Doge, into Shiba, into Pepe, maybe less so into Trump. But yeah, big money, SNEC. Big money is going to flow.
Yeah, what I don't like is like the Doge department's created in the last 2 months, and like the Elon effect on Doge is dead. Like there's nothing he can say or do that pumps like the token. Like it's just been draining the whole time. So it's like I like Doge as a meme coin. I think it's going to continue to meme its each cycle. You know, if the markets rebound, I think Doge could probably see 40 cents, 50 cents again. I wouldn't be shocked if I saw that. But the fact that like all of this stuff with Doge has been happening, Trump's been saying Doge like nonstop, and it has no effect. Like it's just bleeding out. So it's, you know,
you got to change your screen so I can see it.
Here you go. Boom, there you go. It's been just straight up. That's DZ's screen there for you.
Oh, I'm seeing some bull divs on the one.
Close there, and boom, there you go. So it's like since the creation of Doge, right here, this was the top of Doge.
All in wedge is a bullish structure, though.
Exactly, which is why I'm saying like it could definitely go out. But like, remember in 2021, like anytime Elon Musk tweeted, like Doge was like boom, it would just pump. It would just pump. Doge does not have that effect anymore. And I mean, this was Elon Musk's entire movement. Like you can almost probably look at every single like massive price action was an Elon Musk tweet. Today, even though the United States government and Donald Trump saying Doge on a daily basis, like now it's just back to, I think there's a huge accumulation. It's probably the strongest meme coin. That is all I'm putting here. I want to be comparing this to Tesla. I think Tesla's going to end up like if X had a stock, which that was crazy that they just purchased that. But I think Tesla will rebound. You know,
a lot of people say
that's different based off PEs and speculation.
XAI buying X, the old Twitter, was money laundering. You land on that one.
No,
What?
that's just
Like Reddit
like,
says it's
guys,
just
welcome to
complete
business.
money
Any
laundering.
business ever has done this. Like that's just a normal.
There's
It's
Reddit
tax
says, how can this be
evasion.
legal?
That's just how corporate
Well,
business
what's
works.
their case? Why would
Oh,
they
they don't
say
have
that?
one.
They don't have one. I was just saying, like it's a company.
Because it was shady financial practices on the accounting
It's
side
not.
that they
It's
overvalued it.
nope. That's just how. That's how. Like this is what's.
They overvalued
And
the
go to take Econ 101, and there's like, if you have a business professor that has had a company before, unless you have a business professor that's never had a business, then you probably should leave that class. But dude, I can name every single mentor I've ever had. This is what they do with their companies. It's how you get around paying taxes. It's why do you think Jeff Bezos is paid
So he's a tax
$75,000?
evader, is what you're saying.
They use
Yeah.
the loop. You got to use the system
Look,
against itself. That's any good business entrepreneur or owner knows this. And if you have a good CPA, your CPA is going to use all the loopholes that the government. Because by the way, oh, you want to be a good Samaritan? Great, go donate your money to the government. Then it's like the government is using these loopholes. There's a reason why Nancy Pelosi and Tom Emmer, which are Republican and Democrat, are the best traders in the planet. That's how the government's set up. So if you're gonna let the government take advantage of you, that's great. But if you run a business, you're gonna do what's best for you and your business.
Yeah, I would say I don't disagree with anything you said there, but I don't think that was even the primary motivation behind what was happening. They were already in what was basically a partnership between X and XAI as far as like using the data on X. It was purely just a good business move in the sense that AI companies are getting insane valuations right now, like very, very, very high valuations. One of the biggest issues AI companies have is their training data. We got OpenAI is in lawsuit. Almost all of them are in lawsuits right now for how they're getting their data and information, how they're training their models because they're not paying for it. So if XAI doesn't want to get wrapped up into those same lawsuits, if they don't want to get slapped by OpenAI coming after them and saying, hey, XAI is getting a lot of their training data from X, but they're not paying for it. They needed to preempt that. So what did they do? They went and bought the entity that was providing most of their information. And now as an AI company, they have a clear strategic advantage over many of the other AI companies, which then again bolsters its reputation. It's almost like saying, oh, it's money laundering for Michael Saylor to buy Bitcoin to prop up his MicroStrategy stock. It's like, no, it's not. It's a strategy. It's good business. It's the same.
They call that a Ponzi. He's constantly fudded saying he's doing a Ponzi. It's like, no, he's legitimately just taking debt against
he's increasing shareholder value. Is what
it's all he's doing.
What's the strategy where you have your AI researchers unalive themselves in apartment buildings in San Francisco?
Are you talking about Sam Altman?
Sam Altman.
Oh, that's crazy. Sam, yeah, I think it's another play against that. It's like Sam Altman's one of the most, dude, I don't trust that guy with the 10-foot pole. I wish Joe Rogan pressured him on that in the conversation, dude. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, we'll digress from that conversation.
I do want to share one thing. We had 4-hour bull divs on Ethereum. We're not seeing that on Doge. So if you are thinking about longing Doge, just be careful out there. We do see the bull div on the 1 hour. You can see, all right, yeah, we got nice structure to the upside here. And it does even carry over to the 2 hour. You can see a nice little bullish structure there. But when you go to the 4 hour, we lose the bullish divergence there. We are seeing it on Ethereum. So it looks like ETH might be a little bit more bullish in the long term. We did have people talk about XRP. I think it's worth mentioning here. XRP, bull div on the 4 hour. So we are starting to see it roll over on some of the other altcoins. Is it on the 8 hour yet? Oh, XRP might print a bull div on the 8 hour, and then comes the daily. And then next thing you know, comes the nice little pumps, everybody. So be locked in. It's going to be my parting message. Josh, TJ, anything you want to add?
I mean, we got 2 very long streams this week, guys. So if I can just ask any support from you guys are absolutely amazing. Love all the support you guys. Hit that like button. If you're on X, repost. We're gonna be doing a live stream that is long on Wednesday. We're gonna be covering the entire Liberation Day. So we're gonna be watching every single news outlet, every single hearing, every single development. We're gonna be covering it for you guys live on Wednesday this week. And then Friday, we'll be also doing a very long stream as well as we watch and cover everything that's happening at the New York Summit with Jerome Powell. So if you guys appreciate those longer streams, it means a lot of extra work for us, but we absolutely love doing it. I would love to host these streams, honestly, every day. There's just not necessarily events every day, but if you guys hit that like button, that's it there. In terms of videos coming out, I'm going to be working on more, a little bit longer, dragged out ones. I know you guys saw the RFK one over this week. Some people saying, there's no evidence that what he's claiming is taking place, but he's the head of the HHS, which makes me very incredibly excited for decentralized science. I don't think you guys understand what's happening in terms of pharmaceutical sector. They're going to be tariffed. They're going to be regulated to hell, essentially. And you can argue that it's deregulation, but they're going to be focused on banning things like TV advertisement, which all simply means like these pharmaceutical companies, I think you got to be very careful on their stocks over the course of the next year, but that's going to be very beneficial to DeSci because I think what's going to happen out of this is an obvious understanding that we need decentralized research and funding. And so you're going to see a lot of different DeSci sectors start to develop. And I've had a lot of constituents and sources tell me that essentially there's a lot of focus on really decentralizing specifically that biotech longevity sector. So I'm very excited for that over the course of the next 2 years. We'll be covering that a little bit more. But then the stablecoin conversation, the reason why you guys think I'm a Fed, look, hey, it's just, I understand what's coming and I understand that you can't beat the big banks. It's unfortunate. Elizabeth Warren can't do this. Janet Yellen couldn't do it in 2020. Obama sold our soul to BlackRock and the institutions in the 2008 financial crisis. And until we pay off the $36 trillion in United States debt, we are completely indebted to who we owe. And in this case, it's involved very heavily with the lobbying sector from your financial institutions and Wall Street. So if I start rolling that out, I think that will be exciting. I'll try to make it as fun as possible. It's very educational. But if you guys actually realize it's an outline to exactly how tokenization will roll through, and this isn't my random speculative, opinion on the market. This is going through Wyoming with Cynthia Lummis, their stablecoin acts, what they're developing with their Wyoming token, the Bitcoin strategic reserves. This is going to go through Stein and everybody developing the acts currently trying to be pushed through Congress. Understanding that outcome will let you hopefully make better decisions based off what your projections are in these different asset classes. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. And you guys got anything you want to leave off with?
Yeah, he's not a Fed. He just likes khaki pants.
I like khaki pants. I was in the crowd on No, I'm just kidding.
No. This was just speaking of. I just
the
want
other
to throw
side
this
of
in.
the riot shield.
I was the one that incited it. So yeah.
Speaking of the Wyoming stablecoin thing, Layer Zero over the weekend, I saw this was selected as Wyoming's official infrastructure partner. Currently, their protocol currently powers 70% of all cross-chain stablecoin transfers. So that's an interesting one. You guys have heard us talk about Layer Zero here for a while. So that's getting from stablecoin, USDC on Solana versus USDC on ETH versus Base versus Arbitrum, Optimism, all the other chains. Layer Zero helps facilitate that, was selected as an infrastructure partner. But other than that, just hit the like button on the way out, guys. Follow that X account. I put the link in the chat. I guess I can go add it to the description as well. We are going to be doing some giveaways on there pretty soon for those that engage with that account. So go follow it, like all the tweets, leave some comments. We'd love to see some crossover over there between our favorites here on YouTube, especially our members and our mods, as well as on X. And we'll be engaging with you as well. So if you're trying to grow on X, go hit that engagement.
And we'll end with Charles Hoskison's reaction to the Wyoming stablecoin.
Yeah, and I will say too, I can't leak anything yet, but I know everybody in this room knows we're working on something absolutely massive, and I just can't wait to shock you guys in about 30 days from now. So just subscribe and be ready, guys. You're about to see Discover really take off here. Appreciate you guys for watching.
That's you smashing the like button.